Well, hi again, everyone. It's Rob Ryder on Monday, January 6th, 2025. And today, Commander Trump, chairs can't speak, which is apparently what happened on January 3rd, 2025, because in the Congressional Record on the stuff that the House is doing, it says that the Speaker apparently is speaking. According to precedent, the chair will swear in the members elected en masse. Well, who the hell is the chair? There's nothing in any law about the chair doing anything, right? The speaker, according to the law, is the one who is to administer the oath to the rest of the members. But it wasn't the speaker, according to the record, it was the chair. And that's just one of many, many errors, omissions, avoidances that happened on January 3rd when they pretended to become the Congress of the United States by simulating a legal process, avoiding the proper oath, and instead substituting it not a unconstitutional oath with a religious test. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you where it happened, sir. And but the other part of this is, in a few days you're going to have to take an oath. And it's a very particular oath. It has to be done in a special way for you to be the President of the United States. And the reason that's important to me is because I'm from the class of person that has an oath that says I need to obey the orders of the President of the United States. Only enlistees have that in their oath, sir. Not commissioned officers, not officers of the United States, not the Congress, not the sheriff. Only the military enlistees have in their oath to obey the orders of the President of the United States. And I have to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States at the same time. So if you don't do what it says, sir, then you're just as wrong as these fucktards that did this shit on Wednesday. Excuse me, on the 3rd. 3 January 2025. So let me show you where it happened. Give me just a second here. I guess I got to finish this up first. I am Lusky Robert Allen. DOD ID number 12112800006, sir. Enlistee for many, many years. Still in the books. Also known as Rob Ryder. Email address is courtofrecord@AOL.com. And you can find what I do on X, which I just recently joined, and we're going to take a look at that in a second. YouTube, both of those at Rob Ryder, ROBBBRYDER, with 3 B's, because I use my Google account, which had the 3 B's. And Rumble at Rob Ryder with 2 B's. Okay. So just real quick, here on X yesterday, I posted this to Elon Musk, right? The chair cannot talk. I don't know why I didn't say chair cannot speak, because it's about the speaker. And we're going to talk about 25 USC and so forth. So I'm going to read this, but Elon already knows about it. I hope he's talked about it already. So if you were, sir, to go to the Congressional Record, just search the internet Congressional Record, and you can search by date, and there's 3 January 2025, and it shows they got a daily digest, what the Senate did, the House of Representatives, And if we're going to just focus on the House of Representatives, and if you were to download that, it would look something like this. Congressional Record, House of Representatives. Okay, and then we'll see, this is supposed to be everything they did. And there's this other document you can get from the Congressional Research Service, which is the first day of a new Congress, a guide to proceedings on the House floor. Well, that's pretty interesting. Congressional Research Service, RL302725. RL30725. Anyways, what we would see in here, if we're just going to quickly go through what happened in the House of Representatives on January 3rd, 2025, compared to what should have happened, according to the Congressional Research Service. All right, so first we're going to take a pledge. Now, if you go listen to C-SPAN, when they took the pledge, you can't hear words being said. So there is no, spoken voice record, at least for C-SPAN, which I think is the official source for the government. of there having been a Pledge of Allegiance. That's that's the small thing. Let's get to the bigger stuff. Okay, and just we're getting to like the 7th page of the record. So what had happened up until now is they had elected Johnson apparently to be the speaker. And he was giving his speech, and he got to the end. He was doing this prayer by Thomas Jefferson, which at the end says, let me just read you the Thomas Jefferson prayer for the nation, which ends at the end. We ask this through Jesus Christ our Lord, amen, proving that the United States is a Christian nation. Don't let it ever be said it isn't. As we continue on with the day, so the sequence of events requires, I'm now ready to take the oath. I ask the dean, small d dean, right? So that's the definition of something, not necessarily somebody's title. But whatever dean means, we need to look in a dictionary, which we'll do in a second. I ask the dean of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Harold Rogers of Kentucky, to administer the oath of office. Well, we need to stop here for just a minute because Mr. Rogers is not yet a member of anything. He's a member-elect, right? Because every 2 years they have to be reelected. So all these people take an oath for 2 years. Well, they closed the 18th Congress. This man is not a member yet. So who are they talking about being the members? Well, that goes with what it means to be the Speaker of the House, because the Speaker could be anybody. They were talking about making you the Speaker there, Commander Trump, back a little bit ago. Right, that was Steve Bannon's answer. Make Trump the Speaker. Because you don't have to be a member of the House to be the Speaker. It's a whole different class of office. And so who would they be talking about? Well, myself, I'm going to vote for, it's either the parliamentarian of the House, which is the keeper of the procedures, or it's one of these other officers of the House. See, all these are officers of the House, which is what the Speaker is. So it could be the chaplain, because as it turns out, a dean is an ecclesiastic office. And, that's what a chaplain is. So all these individuals here, Inspector General, Historian, General Counsel, Clerk of the House, Chief Administrator, Chaplain, we got the Sergeant at Arms, Parliamentarian. Those are all the members. And out of those members, the dean, which is supposed to be the one that's been serving the longest, should have been the one giving the oath to the Speaker. Because the Speaker has nothing to do with the members-elect. He's got a whole different office, different class of office. Nevertheless, Mr. Rogers is going to get up and give his little speech. And finally, he's going to say, Mr. Rogers of Kentucky then administered the oath of office to Mr. Johnson of Louisiana as follows. Da-da-da-da-da. So help me God. Well, unfortunately, that is a religious test, and it's unconstitutional. So this oath that was just taken by Mr. Johnson is unconstitutional and doesn't satisfy the 6th Article of the Constitution. So he's not the Speaker. He's just pretending to be the Speaker from this point forward. So the pretender then, he's going to turn around and say, and are swearing in members on H7 of January 3rd, 2025, Congressional Record of the House, according to precedent, the chair will swear in the members elect en masse. The members will raise their hand, members elect rose, and the Speaker administered the oath of office to them as follows. Well, no, he didn't. He just said the chair is going to do it. All right, this is written in here like somebody's notes afterwards, but what was said is that the chair will swear in the members. And nowhere else in here do they talk about a chair. So anyways, they took the same unconstitutional oath, so they're as committing a fraud against the United States just as much as the guy who's pretending to be the Speaker. These are crimes against the United States. This is a military crime. Fraud against the United States is an offense of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And if we don't like that, then we can put it under the Military Commissions Act and say, well, it's an act of terrorism. Because the shit they're going to do after they get the power. Because they are not the Congress of the United States. They're impersonating the Congress of the United States. And that's backed up by 2 USC subsection 25, which has to do with the oath of Speaker, members, and delegates, that at the first session of Congress, after every general election, the oath of office shall be administered by any member of the House of Representatives to the Speaker. Well, again, it can't be the members elect, because they're not members yet. The only members of the House of Representatives at this point sit back in the office, or it's the door guard, or what they call them, the sergeant at arms, or it's the minister, that is the chaplain, which, ecclesiastic office. That's what the dean is. Nevertheless, and the speaker to all members and delegates. Well, that's not who did it. The speaker said the chair was going to do it. So they did not execute subsection 25 the way it's written. They're all a no-go. Present on the business, the clerk of the House of Representatives, and, members of the House of Representatives to the Speaker, and by the Speaker to all members, delegates present, and to the clerk. Well, as we're going to see when we go down here to codification, that this says IRS, which is revised statute 30, which is what this came from, right? They took the revised statutes and turned them into the code, derived from the Act of June 1st, 1789, chapters 1 and 2, which is 1 Stat 23, which I've shown time and time again, and I'm going to show it again right now. All right, in the laws of the United States, and this would happen to be the very first law signed into law by President Washington after the ratification of the Constitution, an act to regulate time and manner of administering certain oaths, where it says in here that the oath or affirmation required by the 6th Article of the Constitution of the United States shall be administered in the form following, to wit, I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States. Period. No, so help me God, no. Well, there is a place to put your name in, which means then that you have to do this. You have to say I and put your name in. Well, when we go back and look at what the Pumpkinheads did, I don't remember where I put it. Where are you? Got too many things going on here. Right? Instead of doing what the law said, well, the member-elect rose and the speaker administered the oath of office as follows. Actually, the chair did. They're just saying the speaker did, but the speaker said the chair was going to do it. So, do you, there's no I, put your name in. That isn't on there. Very much like the enlisted oath. I, and you had to put your name in. So, if you didn't do it, well, it's not right. Which is completely different than your oath, sir, which says, I do solemnly swear. It doesn't say, I, Donald John Trump. So when Esquire Roberts tries to get you to say, I, Donald John Trump, you cannot do that. You have to say, that's the wrong oath. I'm going to take the proper one. You want to have your wife give it to you. Well, actually, she can't. But, somebody besides him. Get a military officer to give it to you. And say, I do solemnly swear that I will support, faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, defend the Constitution of the United States. Period. No, so help me God at the end. Just go listen to what you did last time and say, well, that's wrong. I can't do it again. Right? Why didn't I do it like that enlistee told me to do? I'll just do it like it says in the book. So anyways, that is this part. But if you go to the second page, you get down here far enough, you'll see that, and if further be enacted, that the Secretary of the Senate and the Clerk of the House of Representatives shall at the time of taking oath or affirmation aforesaid, so they're going to take that, and then each take an oath or affirmation of the following words. I, and they got to put their name in and take this oath. So the clerk had 2 different oaths to take, and neither of them are mentioned. Hang on now, almost there. Neither of them are mentioned here. Right, in the Congressional Record. If they had done it, it should have been like the next thing done before they went into, picking all the yahoos that they're going to also act like they're holding an office. So it's pretty plain that something happened on the 3rd that was not done to the law, and therefore it's a fraud against the United States, which expected it to be done this way. And while I've been picking on the House, we can just go a little farther up and look into USC subsection 21 and see that for the senators, well, they're talking about the same oath, the oath in 1 Stat 23, not the oath that we saw them taking in the House, which is the oath that's in Title 5, United States Code, Section 3331. All right, 5 USC 3331, oath of office. An individual, except the president, so you're not going to take this, elected or appointed to an office of honor or profit in the civil service or uniformed services. Well, that isn't a congressman, right? They're elected officers of one of the 3 branches of government. And, so uniformed services, well, that'd be commissioned officers. This is the oath that commissioned officers take. And it goes on to give the oath, so help me God. Then at the end it says, this section does not affect other oaths required by law, which is 1 Stat 23. So even if they took this one and they say, oh, we're supposed to take it, and they got their excuse for taking it, it doesn't change the fact they got to take the one in 1 Stat 23. So in summary, we can just go look at the Congressional Research Service first day of new Congress, a guide to proceeding on the House floor, and see what it said was supposed to happen. And so the clerk's supposed to call the House to order, and then a prayer by the chaplain, the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, that was muted by C-SPAN. Quorum by the clerk. Election of the speaker. Remarks by the speaker-elect, followed by his or her swearing in by the dean. That's the little d dean of the House. So what does that mean exactly? I don't know. But what I do know is the unconstitutional oath administered. What's the difference between little d dean and proper case dean? I'm going to say little case dean means, well, that's a definition. For proper case d dean, like, proper noun, well, that's somebody's title. Or it could be their name, but it isn't necessarily the definition. And by definition, excuse me, all right, it's out of Webster's 1828, the dean. In England, an ecclesiastic dignitary in the cathedral or collegiate college and the head of a chapter. The second dignitary of a diocese. Ancient deans are elected to the chapter by virtue of something or other from the king in letters missive of recommendation. But in chapters founded by Henry VIII, out of the spoils of dissolved monasteries, after he took all the Catholic Church's property, the deanery is a donative, an installation merely by a king's letter patent. So they're not, it's like not elected to an office or appointed to an office. An officer in the college, the universities of England, and the U states, an officer in medical school. Ain't that something? And then a bouvier is an ecclesiastic officer who derives his name from the fact that he presides over 10 canons or pre-boundaries, at least. There are several kinds of deans. Don't say about a Congress. I guess that's my point. Is Congress an ecclesiastic group? If they are, well, what religion are they following? Because they say they follow the Noahide laws. I showed that in one of my last videos to you, sir, that Congress got a law that says that the nation was founded on the Noahide laws. I have to disagree because the nation was founded on the Constitution. And we're a Christian nation according to the prayer there by Thomas Jefferson, so who am I to argue? And then just to wrap this up, well, they got done with what they're supposed to do for the members. They took a non-constitutional oath. And there's nothing in there about the clerk taking her oath, which is actually the one in 1 Stat 23, or the 2 different oaths in 1 Stat 23, the clerk and the secretary of the Senate are supposed to have taken. Well, these people are the ones that are supposed to, at least in the case of the House, that the clerk of the House of Representatives of the 80th and each succeeding Congress shall cause the oath of office to be printed, furnishing 2 copies to each member and delegate who has taken the oath of office in accordance with law, which shall be prescribed in accordance by a member or a delegate, who shall thereupon deliver them to the clerk, one to be filed in the records of the House of Representatives, and the other to be recorded in the Journal of the House and in the Congressional Record, which is the thing we've been looking at. and such signed copies or certified copies thereof, or of either of such records thereof, shall be admissible in evidence in any court of the United States, and shall be held conclusive proof of the fact that the signer duly took the oath of office in accordance with law. So the opposite of that is, well, if you don't have it, then you didn't take it. And that, therefore, they're usurping the office, sir. And you, as the President of the United States, have a duty to enforce the laws of the United States. And the very first law we have is 1 Stat 23, which has the freaking oath that these people were supposed to have taken. And it's really simple, sir. Just get them to do the right thing, or have them arrested, have them captured by the armed forces, because there's no way for an enlisted man to get these people to do it. I got to get an officer to make them do it. So hey, I'll get the commander-in-chief to do it. Very good. That's all I had, sir. I'm going to take the rest of the day off. You have a great day, and I hope you found it useful. Okay, see y'all later. Bye-bye.